So with Russia intensifying its effort in Ukraine, the international community realizes they need to put more pressure on the Russian president, and one of the ways to do this is by cutting Russia off from the SWIFT system. This procedure, together with existing problems, is causing a major bank run in Moscow and other parts of Russia, and has already resulted in the central bank increasing the cash flow towards the ATMs. Now, the international community is not yet cutting off the entire Russian financial system, since they are focusing on specific Russian banks, and they are freezing the assets of the Russian central bank, because cutting off the entire Russian financial system also has major impacts on the rest of Europe. So why is this causing a bank run by the Russian people, and why is this even a problem? Well, for that we have to look at what SWIFT is. SWIFT stands for the Society of Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, and it is used by pretty much every single bank around the world to do trillions of dollars in transactions on a daily basis. It is how banks are able to communicate with each other, so cutting off a specific bank from SWIFT will make it near impossible for that bank to send or receive payments. Now, critics will say that there are workarounds for this by using the Chinese alternative set up by China and its allies. And while this is true, the Chinese system is nowhere near as efficient as SWIFT is, and will only work for large Russian institutions and not for most Russian businesses and individuals. So when you combine the fear of not being able to transfer your money in or out of your account with a collapsing ruble that is now on the same level as it was during the height of the pandemic in 2020, you get a massive amount of people trying to get their money out of the banks and into their homes, since Russia is still a cash-based economy. However, the problems are getting even worse, since many Russians are also trying to convert their rubles into foreign currency because of the falling price, which is hurting the ruble even more. It is also depleting the central bank's reserves of foreign currency, and since the central bank has already been hit by the sanctions, it now has great difficulty with refilling those reserves. Now, some people might say, so what? If everybody's pulling out their own money, what's the problem? Well, this is where a dirty little secret known as the bank multiplier comes in. You see, banks will lend out most of the money that you put in there to other people and businesses, so they never actually have your money in their accounts. They just pretend to. They only have around 8 to 12% of the money they're supposed to have, which means that if just 8% of the money is being withdrawn, the bank is already having a major liquidity issue and will need to find cash quickly. They will have to get it from other banks, which are also having liquidity issues, and the system as a whole will most likely have to issue a withdrawal stop to avoid a total collapse. This will cause even more panic and will most likely lead to people hoarding their money at home. Now, under normal circumstances, the government can calm people down by issuing guarantees to the banks and slowly let more and more people withdraw more money, since there's actual liquidity in the system. However, in the case of Russia, it is caused due to the major sanctions from the war with Ukraine, so these problems won't go away anytime soon, which means that Russia will have a major problem on its hands trying to stop a bank run and prevent the ruble from falling further.